I found you today for the episode 2 of French period drama, a costume analysis. And I wanted to film elsewhere because I'm always filming in that decor, that part of my room, and I have another part of my room that is super cool. But this is the best in terms of lighting and such, so I can't really show you all the beautiful decoration I have, but I wanted to mention that if I was able to film on that part, I would have been able to show you this candle. This is a skull candle made and sold by the beautiful Evelynette on Instagram and Dainty Medievalist on Instagram and Etsy, and I will put the link in her shop because she's made others skull. It smells so good, and it's just, I want it to be a part of the video, but it can't be in the decor. But this is my new obsession right now. This episode will be on 2 movies, actually on 1 movie and its sequel. It's La Gloire de mon Père et Le Château de ma Mère. And if I translate it, it's like, if I translate word for word, I don't know the American names, the American titles, but it's The Glory of My Father and The Castle of My Mother. I have my notes and I will be reading them because I have a lot of things to say. This series was made to praise the costumes in French period dramas because in terms of costume, French period dramas are actually really well done usually, and I just wanted to talk about these beautiful movies, apart also from the costumes, but just beautiful movies to other people, because French cinema isn't the most worldwide one, so I just wanted to talk about it in this series. We did Angélique Marquez des Anges last time, and this time we are doing these 2, and I'm just going to discuss the costumes and the movie in general. La Gloire de mon Père et Le Château de ma Mère are 2 movies adaptations of Marcel Pagnol's novels of the same title. He wrote his biography, so these movies are consequently biopics of his life. They were produced by Yves Robert and came out both in 1990. I might do other episodes on Marcel's novels adaptations because they are so good, I love them, and it gives this old French cinema vibes that is very dear to my heart. Before talking about the costumes, I wanted to tell you without many spoilers what the 2 movies are about. La Gloire de mon Père tells the story of Marcel, who is the son of an elementary school teacher from Marseille. Marseille is in Provence, it's in the southeast of France. During the summer of 1904, him and his family, so his dad Joseph, his mom Augustine, which is played by the beautiful Nathalie Roussel, which I'm in love with Augustine in that movie, his little brother Paul and his little baby sister are going into his vacation home, his holiday villa in the Garlaban in les collines of Provence. Les collines it's basically smaller mountains, it's hills, yeah, the hills in English, but I'm going to say it in French, sorry, because I don't know, there is a big, like, les collines are very important, so, but I mean hills, like the hills, alive with the sound of music. Marcel is basically going to fall in love with the colline, and he is going to be very attached to them for the rest of his life. Le Château de ma Mère is set a year after, like around a year after, right after the holidays they are spending that summer, and it's about the other holidays they are going to spend in that villa. It also tells more of his adventures with his friend Lily de Belon. Mind you, it's a boy, it's not a girl. It was weird to watch a movie where a boy character's name is Lily, but it works for both gender, I guess. And also about his first love, Isabelle de Cassignol. The plot also revolves around the fact that to go faster into the villa because they are going walking, they sneakingly, is that even a word, like secretly passes through the, like they're going along the canal, and that forces them to cross gardens of castle owners, and they're doing this quite secretly because it's quite illegal, and that scares Augustine a lot. That really stresses her out, and that is also kind of the plot of that movie. Now let's start the costume analysis. The costumes were designed for both movies by Agnès Maigre, which was actually nominated for a César in 1991 for these costumes. So the story takes place in France, in the south, in Provence, and because we start when Marcel is born, so I'm going to say it starts around 1895 to around 1904 for the first movie, and it goes a bit after for the second movie. But it's around, like, it's the Edwardian era for British people, it's the Belle Époque for French. The end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. As I said, I started this series on my channel to praise the costumes in French period dramas because they are usually very good, but there is nothing like historical accuracy doesn't exist. Really, you can't make something exactly how it was back then because you are not back then. But I will talk about historical accuracy, like to say if it looks like something that could be worn at that time or not. So I'm going to use that term, but mind you, you can't be historical accurate unless you're actually using only costumes that you got from that era. I know more things about the women's wear than the men's wear, so I will focus more on that. But I will also talk about the men wear sometimes. And I will start with the costumes of La Gloire de mon Père and then go on with the costumes of the Château de ma Mère. We first see Marcel's dad wearing his elementary teacher coat, blouse, tablier, I don't really know, but apron, that was the term I was searching for. It's basically what all elementary teachers were wearing at the beginning of the 20th century. The first woman to enter is Aunt Rose. She seems to be wearing a fanny skirt of 1985 and a white cotton blouse, which is very much accurate to the time of this story. She's also wearing a knitted shawl on her shoulders and has a classic Gibson girl hairdo, which is the hairstyles of the time. She's wearing hearthstones, which makes sense because it's a small village in the countryside, and we actually have the exact date of the moment the beginning of the movie happened, because we know that Marcel Pagnol is born on the 28th of February 1895. It's going to be hard not to say 19, I don't know why I want to say 19, but yeah. Then we see Augustine wearing a hat that looks like this one from the Kyoto Costume Institute, which is a collection of historical Occidental garments, and that is my, like, I have the book of the Kyoto collection, and this is going to be my main source of information when it comes to fashion. I wanted to use mainly books I had, and this is the only one I have about fashion. and less internet, and also my own knowledge about pattern and such. So I will be showing you examples from the Kyoto Institute and from patterns inspired by that fashion that I own. But that is in the book is actually dated from 1905, like around 1905 to 1909, but Straw Hat has been around for longer than that, and they all kind of look alike, so this hat can be considered quite accurate. She's also wearing her hair down for the market, which isn't very acceptable, but she's in a big city, so I guess that makes a bit sense. Her sister Rose wears her hair up all the time, which might be at the beginning to settle the difference, like the gap age, because Rose is older than Augustine. Their styles, however, look absolutely amazing and accurate, with volume on the top of the head, which was important. I can't really tell if she's wearing a corset or not, but I can say I think her and Aunt Rose are actually wearing a bustle pad, or as I like to say, a butt pad, at the beginning of the movie. I'm not sure about the corset, but because their blouses is quite sheer, you can see through. We can see that under the blouses they are not naked, obviously. They have kind of a chemise or something under it, but I can't tell if they are having a corset, which they should be wearing a corset. But they should be wearing one actually, and I'm going to show you example of corsets of that era, but they should. On the Sunday ritual of Aunt Rose and Marcel, we can see her wearing a coat over her blouse and skirt. That coat is quite similar to a 1900-1905 coat in the Kyoto collection. And that one that we have an example of is made of linen, which is probably the same material as Aunt Rose's coat. Her hat resembles a 1900 hat of the Kyoto collection, made of silk tulle and cotton lace with an ostrich feather, and the other ladies at the park are wearing quite the same outfit, but I will say that I don't know if it's actually an ostrich feather on the hat of Aunt Rose, but she's wearing kind of the same style of hat, so that is a good point. I enjoy the fact that this movie pays attention to accessories, like Aunt Rose and even Augustine are often seen with handbags, like little small handbags with a chain, or like umbrellas, hat, like accessories that made the outfit looks more authentic and more complete. And also brooches, they have a lot of like jewelry that looks very much authentic. When Augustine is preparing the lunch for Aunt Rose when they are coming over, you can see her walking quite fast, and you can see that she has a bigger fan skirt that is actually gathered, which you would think like around that time, like around 1904, the skirts are starting to get a little bit straighter, a little bit narrowed. So her skirt I think is quite big for the era, but if it's an older skirt that she has, I guess it works, sorry. And also, she's not in Paris. It's not a family that will be the first to like jump on the new fashion trends. She might be using her older skirts. What I also really like about that movie is the variety. How many outfits, like how many different outfits they both has, both for the men and women, and I think that's very cool. It all made also sense because Augustine is a seamstress, so she can make some outfit for herself. When they first leave for the holiday house, Augustine is wearing a day dress for the first time and not a blouse and skirt combination. The entire family has the same color palettes of whites and earth tones, which looks aesthetically quite pleasing. The man that helps them transport their furniture from their house to the vacation house has little holes, and his vest is quite used. His velvet vest been a bit used, and I think that adds a lot of authenticity to his character because he's from the countryside and is working all day. I mean, he says he isn't working, but he's helping them. Like, he works like at the farm and such, so it makes sense that his outfit are a bit used and that it doesn't look like it was brand made for the movie, like brand new for the movie, and I think that looks quite cool. They have to walk a ton lot in the mountains, and Augustine is wearing her her heeled boots, and Marcel proposed to change her boots for espadrilles, which are shoes from the Catalan countries that were around since the 14th century, but in 1860, I always say 19 instead of 18. In 1960, the shoes, like the espadrilles as we know today in France and probably in Spain too, like in Europe, expanded, and that's why it's quite accurate for her son to propose to change her shoes. He says so many cute things for his mom, but he says that now she looks more petite. She looks like she's 15 again, and when he says that, like, he proposed to change her shoes and give her actual historically accurate shoes, and it looks amazing. The woman once in holidays seems quite Bustle-Pad 3, which isn't quite accurate, but you know, they're in holidays, I guess. Le Château de ma Mère starts after the summer holidays of the first movie, and we see Augustine with a long braid and a bit of volume on the top of her head, which is an accurate hairstyle for the era. The shape and length of Augustine's winter coat looks like the one from Kyoto collection with fur on it, and a shapka, which was already around at the time. The narrator that is quoting the actual novel informs us that the fur is a rabbit. It's rabbit fur, and I don't know if in the movie they used a coat with rabbit fur. I wouldn't be surprised, sadly, but I don't know, maybe the coat is actually vintage, and in that case I guess it's fine. If not, I don't really know much about if they recreated with actual fur or not. But the narrator also said that she looks like a Canadian ice skater he could see on the post calendar, and honestly I doubt that we can contradict him on that because she looks absolutely gorgeous. For a Christmas outfit, Augustine seemed to be wearing a corset. I can see quite of a shape on her bust, but I'm not quite sure about that. But I think she might be wearing one. If she's wearing a corset, she's not wearing a dramatic one that changes her shape completely, but we kind of see a support on her bust area. Maybe it's just me. When they are crossing the gardens, Augustine is wearing her day dress with a bustle pad in my opinion, and the decorations on her hat matches her dress fabric, which emphasizes the fact that sewing was a personal and delicate craft, and if Augustine is a seamstress, it seems logical she could personalize her accessories with the fabric she used for her dresses. For the last outfit Augustine wears, my fragile heart can't handle that scene. I can't really, and I'm not going to show it. That scene is important, and I feel like it's a bit of a spoiler, but in my opinion the dress she's wearing, like the gown she's wearing at the last moments and the last scene of the movie, is the most authentic looking and the most beautiful one she ever wears. But I will let you watch it on your own for that one. To conclude this analysis, all I can say is that the costumes are amazing and quite accurate. That movie gives off very provincial, very Provence, south of France chic, very cottagecore vibes, and these vibes resonate with the colors and the materials of the fabric used. It is very ethereal, very aesthetically pleasing, both costumes wise and the makeup and the hair. The makeup, actually, if there is a makeup, it's a no makeup, apart from the moment Isabelle is wearing a theatrical makeup to play because she's a little girl. but otherwise they all seem not to be wearing any makeup, not even rouge or anything, which makes sense. They are not like from the bourgeoisie, they are small working class women in a small village in the south, so it makes sense that they are keeping quite a natural face. Every actor in that movie is pretty, and the love that Marcel has for his Colline is quite the same as I have for the Alps, so that movie really resonates through my heart. One of my favorite French period drama ever. My dream is actually to have Augustine wardrobe, or to be Augustine actually. That would be quite good. And I think Agnès Negre, which is the costumer, like the designer of the costumes, I don't know if she designed them, if she, I don't know really, I just know she was in charge of the costumes, and she's an amazing artist because she did an amazing work. The only thing missing, the only flaws I have to say about the costumes are the lack of definition and the lack of silhouette. If they were wearing a corset and more developed bustle pad, or even like definition on the bust, that will have seen even more authentic, but I can't really tell if they're wearing a corset or not. I guess they are in the countryside, but they should be, like, the silhouette should be more structured and more defined. That is the only flaws I have to say for the costumes. I hope you liked that analysis. If you did, please check the episode 1. It was on Angélique Marquise des Anges, and I will find you hopefully soon for an episode 3.